Her seat is over there.
Is that offensive to you that you're telling me what to do?
Of course not.
They're both there. I'm just blocking it. So I wasn't. Okay.
Hey.
Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Welcome, everyone. There are times in our service that we traditionally rise and sit. Please, please do what is physically comfortable for you at that time. Thank you.
On behalf of the members of Brit Nashim, I am Joanne Roberts,
And I am Toby Colton.
and we wish you Shabbat Shalom. We welcome you, whether here in our sanctuary or online, to what we hope will be a special Kabbalat Shabbat service created and led by our members, which we started doing online during COVID and have done annually since. This year, we are leading the entire service, and we thank Rabbi Cohen and Cantor Newman for giving us the room to more fully participate, and Cantor Newman for making time to work with us to be able to do so. This evening, we are also blessed to share a sacred and joyful moment in our service as our clergy confer Lake Fen Horse Hebrew name, a tradition that binds her to our community and heritage. We wish the family Mazel Tov on this occasion. Tonight, as we start our Shabbat service, we encourage everyone to consciously think about separating from our ordinary days of the week with all the things that we must do and accomplish. As the sun sets, we enter our holy day of Shabbat, a day to slow down, to appreciate, to express gratitude, to spend time in rest and introspection and relaxation, and to engage with community. To begin our service, Edith will share a special reading, followed by L'chad Odi, led by Marie, Donna, and Rachel.
May the door of this synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for fellowship. May it welcome all who have cares to unburden, thanks to express, hopes to nurture. May the door of this synagogue be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride, envy and enmity. May its threshold be no stumbling block to young or straying feet. May it be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, and harshness. May this synagogue be for all who enter the doorway to a richer and a more meaningful life.
Please join us on page 138.
Come in the middle.
Oh,
Go ahead, Don.
That's fine.
please join us on page 138 for Lecha Dodi. We will sing verses 1, 2, 5, and at verse 9, please rise to those who greet the Shabbat bride.
It's a slightly different tune, but you'll pick it up really easily. Ready? Lecha dodi lekrat kala penei Shabbat nekabla. Lecha dodi lekrat kala penei Shabbat nekabla. Shama v'zcha b'dibur echad, Hishmiyanu el hamiuchad. Adonai echad u'shemo echad, l'shem ultiferet v'litchila. Lecha dodi lekrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabla. Lecha dodi lekrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabla. Lekrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki hi mikor habracha. Mirosh mikedam nesucha, sof maaseh b'mahavla techila. Lekrat dodi lekrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabla. Lecha dodi lekrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabla. Hitorari, kiva orech kumi uri. Uri shir daveri, kavod Adonai elayich nigla. Lecha dodi lekrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabla. Lecha dodi lekrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabla. Boi b'shalom ateret bala, gam b'simcha uftola. Roch emunei am segula, boi chala, boi chala. Lecha dodi lekrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabla. Lecha dodi lekrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabla.
Please be seated. God, thank you for the joy and delight, for wonder and awe, for moments of gladness and celebration. Grant my ability to breathe gentleness so that I may live awake to view the beauty, to holiness, to the radiance that surrounds us. Grant me the wisdom to arrive each day with passion and humor, with song and dance, with smiling eyes, in service to myself, in service to others, in service to your holy name. Amen. Avinu Shalom Aleichem. Avinu Shalom Aleichem. Avinu Shalom Aleichem. Avinu Shalom, Shalom, Shalom Aleichem. Avinu Shalom Aleichem. Avinu Shalom Aleichem. Avinu Shalom Aleichem. Avinu Shalom, Shalom, Shalom Aleichem.
Please turn to page 144 and rise for the Hatzi Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah. V'yalma divra chirute v'yamlich malchute v'chayechon uvyomechon v'chaye decho beit Yisrael b'agala v'zman koriv v'yimru Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach v'elam umei omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitraman v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudisha rechu le'ela mincha birchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechamata damin v'elma v'yimru Amen. And please turn to page 146 for the Baruch Hu. Please join me on page 127 in English. We offer thanks, O God, for this Shabbat, which unites us in faith and hope, for Shabbat holiness, which inspires sacred living, for Shabbat memories, glowing even in darkness, for Shabbat peace, born of friendship and love. We offer thanks and blessings, O God. We continue our service on page 150.
Please join me with Ahavat Olam.
Please be seated and listen to a special English translation of the Via Hafta. Love God with all the power of your heart, with its yearnings and its passions. Love God with all you hold dear in life and with the fullness of whatever the world offers you, both joy and sorrow. Teach children to cope, to dream, to stretch, to become the purpose, to live their holy lives. Wrap these words around every deed, a garment of holy expression. Let these words shape your home, a dwelling of peace. Wherever you go, scatter the words like seeds as drops of water into the thirsty earth. Nurture trees of life in your garden. Seal these words upon your heart. Let them course through and cleave to the soul, to body, and to the sacred parameters of your being.
Please join me for the Micha Mocha on page 158. Micha Mocha, Bailim Adonai. Micha Mocha, Nedar Bakodesh. No Tehilot, Oseh Feleh. No Tehilot, Oseh Feleh. Malchut Charabonecha, Bokei Hayam Lifnei Moshe. Zeli Anu V'Yameru Adonai Imloch Le'olam Va'ed. Adonai Imloch Le'olam Va'ed.
Giver of peace, teach us to see ourselves in the face of the other, that we may learn to be patient with fault, generous with love, and sparing with anger. Help us to understand that our little lives are potent with great good, that we are healers in your image, that by reaching out in need of you, we see others more in need, and we find you near to us all. Give us the grace simply to be kind, then peace must surely come to dwell among us. Please turn to page 162 for the Vishamru.
Vishameru v'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, la'asot et HaShabbat לדורותם ברית עולם, ברית עולם.
ושמרו בני ישראל
ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת וינפש. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם.
Prayer invites. God's presence to suffuse our spirits, God's will to prevail in our lives. Prayer may not bring water to parched fields, nor mend a broken bridge, nor rebuild a ruined city. But prayer can water an arid soul, mend a broken heart, rebuild a weakened will.
Please turn to page 164 for Tefillah, and please rise. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avoteinu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibur v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imaot, U'mevii Geula livnei bneihem, L'man Shemo b'Ahava, Melech Ozer u'Moshia u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, V'ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayei hakol atah Rav le'Hoshia, Mashiv haruach u'morid hagashem, Mechalkel chayim b'chesed, Mechayei hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim ve'rofech cholim, U'matir asurim, U'mekayem emunato l'shenei afar, Michamocha bal gevurot, U'midom elav. ישועה. בנאמן אתה לחיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. Please be seated.
Sorry, people.
A little confused.
Please join me in English at the top of page 177. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us, so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth, which day by day sustains us. For all these and more, we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha, u'lecha no'eh lahadot.
Parsha Pekudei, Accountings of, is the final Torah reading in the book of Exodus. It describes the making of priestly garments worn in the tabernacle, also called the Mishkan or tent of meeting. And the completion of its construction is also described. At God's command, Moses erects the Mishkan and puts its vessels in place, and it becomes filled with the holy light of God's presence. Parshot Vayachel and Pekudei together lay out a blueprint for the ways to do our work. The framework provided within these parshot for building a Mishkan can be adapted for building other things, even a community, even a Friday night service. What does it look like to commit to a project and see it through to completion? How can we create, lead, and complete in a manner that adds a holy dimension to our work? We decided to put this to a test in building the service we are now presenting by using the 4 eyes of Sinai, which you may have seen on our billboard. They are intention, inclusiveness, innovation, and intimacy, and we have used them as our guides. Sinai's first eye instructed us to work with intention. Moses tells the people that the foundation of their donation of both materials and effort must be made with passion and love. Torah says, "And everyone whose heart was lifted, and everyone whose spirit was moved came, bringing to God an offering for the work of the tent of meeting and for all its service." This means that the people who built the tabernacle must come with uplifted hearts and moved with spirits of intention to create something meaningful. When we begin a project, when we start a job, the intention of our hearts and souls should be listened to, just as we listened to one another in planning this service. Next, we must give of ourselves and enable to others to give of themselves by embracing inclusiveness. We encourage full participation by giving according to what we have and what we are able. Torah says, "Everyone who possessed blue, purple, and crimson yarns, fine linen, goat's hair, tanned ram skins, and dolphin skins brought them. Everyone who would make gifts of silver or copper brought them as gifts for God. And everyone who possessed acacia wood for any work of the service brought that as well. This underscores that each contributor brought something different to the table. We are all blessed with different physical, emotional, social, and intellectual abilities. We must understand what it is that we can offer and what would be better for someone else to contribute. Rather than someone or ones trying to fulfill all roles, there is so much value in allowing every person to give according to what they have. And so you see here, we have singers, readers, planners, leaders, and thank heaven, supporters, all of whom have contributed to welcome Shabbat tonight. Not surprisingly, the principle of inclusiveness led us to Sinai's third I, innovation. Our principal innovation tonight is a completely lay-led service by our women. Torah says, the 100 talents of silver were used for casting the sockets of the sanctuary and the sockets for the curtain. And from the 1,775 shekels were made hooks for the posts, overlay for their tops, and bands around them. Just as the Bnei Yisrael, the children of Israel, had to use some of the materials they had already with them in new and different ways, so too within the physical setup of Sinai sanctuary and the accepted and familiar structure of our traditional Kabbalat Shabbat service, we pondered what to add, subtract, adapt to make the space more accessible and the service more our own. The result is what you are seeing and hearing now. And finally, the fourth I, intimacy. Torah says, now Bezalel, son of Uri, son of Hur of the tribe of Judah, had made all that Yah had commanded Moses. At his side was Aholiab, son of Ahisamach of the tribe of Dan. Side by side, we women of Brit Nashim have worked on this project, our service, and the feelings of intimacy that have grown out of our association we now share with you in this warm and welcoming space. Thank you all so much for joining us.
The poem I'm going to read is written by our speaker tonight and teacher, Sherry, at the tent of meeting. Finally, after long work, physical and mental, I come to the opening of the tent. I know God, but do you know what this work means? You, who have always been in my thoughts, always in my mind, and even sometimes in my aching back as I worked and struggled on your behalf. Let the opening of the tent encourage the opening of the text. Let me say that again because it's so good. Let the opening of the tent encouraging the opening of the text, and let me, your humble daughter, enter and not hold back. Our service continues on page 178 with Shalom Rav. Please join me for Shalom Rav. Yisrael Amka Tasim Leolam Shalom Rav Yisrael Amka Tasim Leolam Ki Atahu Melech Adon Lekol Hashem Yisrael tasim leolam v'tov b'necha levarech et amcha Yisrael v'kolek uv'kol sha'ah b'shlomecha. Shalom Rav Yisrael tasim leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael tasim leolam. Tasim leolam. Tasim leolam. Blessed are you, Adonai, who blesses your people Israel with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamavarek et amo Yisrael b'shalom. And we will now take a few moments of silence for our own prayers of the heart.
There are those in our community who are in need of healing. If you know of others whose names have not been mentioned, please hold, and we're going to mention them, then hold them in your hearts. And Judy's going to lead us in singing Misha Baruch on page...
After we finish.
Yeah, on page 371.
You're starting.
Okay. All the hostages in Israel, all the wounded in Israel, and around the world in all of the wars. Amy Toiber, Ben Marcus, Bill Ross, Bob Radke, David Goldenholz, Deidre Tischberg, Fiona Powell, Gary Siegel, Gary Sinclair, Genevieve Vermeulen, Iris Cohen, Jennifer Houston, Karen McDermott, Katie Peltz Davis, Kevin Boland, Kanapka and Vermeulen families, Corey Kanapka, Leonore Friedman.
Mark Eisman, Marianne Gehrig, Marion Resnick, Martha Ross, Michael Primico, Michael Ross, Michael Jacoby, Mike Alvarado, Mosi Ramirez, Pat Kester, Rivka Fagi Batfilis, Rory Langloy, Rosalind Flagel, Sally Ross, Shlomit Bat Esther, Stella Schneider, Therese Alvarado, Will Thompson, Joseph Carrasco, and Mark Shafarinsky.
And Molly Horowitz, Michael Johnson, David Steyer, and Stephen Glicksman.
Avraham
we are just a few weeks away from Pesach, from Passover, and the festive meal that we will share around the Seder table. And one of the most beloved moments, beloved might be stretching it, one of the better known moments in the Seder is at the very end, where we acknowledge and hope for the presence of the prophet Elijah. Elijah is invited at that point in our service because Elijah is really the harbinger of hope, the messenger who will come someday to announce the arrival of the messianic age of peace and fulfillment. And it's not by accident that whenever there is a bris or a baby naming, we also have a chair set aside for Elijah. Because what could be more hopeful for the future than the birth of a new human life? The cantor and I are honored and privileged tonight to bestow upon Lake Elizabeth Van Horst her Hebrew name. I'd like to invite her up. She's clapping for herself already. And her parents, Lauren Stuckert Van Horst and Brian Paul Van Horst. Hi there. I'm being hypnotized, I think. It is wonderful to have Lake among us here, a name that has great resonance in this part of the world, as we are near one of the greatest of lakes. And now we're in the presence of another great lake. The name which Lake is going to have, that Brian and Lauren have chosen for her in Hebrew, is Levi? Levi Mayim. Levi is a name in the tradition that refers to the tribe of Levi, who were the folks who were given the opportunity and responsibility for taking care of all the stuff that went on at the temple in Jerusalem thousands of years ago. And Mayim is a word for water. And in Judaism and other traditions, water is seen for a salvific property. Water is something that can cleanse us, something that gives us life, sometimes makes us want to look up in the air. However, and when you see her in Cirque du Soleil years from now, you will recall. Lake's name, though, in Hebrew and in English, has other resonance within her family. And so, Brian, if you would share with us. Sure.
Chazal tells us that anyone who upholds the life of a Jew, the Torah considers it as if he has upheld an entire world. That being said, I think that our daughter has uplifted our entire world. My wife came up with the name Levi Mayim. I don't know why I'm crying. I get emotional. So, Levi is a derivative of Levi. Lev is also her initials, Lake Elizabeth Van Horst, which fits perfectly. Mayim means water, which fits perfectly with lake. Mayim also reminds us of one of our favorite people. Many of us knew her by different names: Gaga, Graham, Grandma, Mom, and Sharon. Grandma enjoyed being at the lake near the water, where she made loving memories with her family. We are proud that our daughter gets to grow up in the same temple as her mother, her grandma Nano, and where her great-grandmother, Gaga, was a founding member.
I don't know whether you said this or just it was an illusion that I caught, but when you mentioned Lake's initials in English, L-E-V, the word lev in Hebrew means heart, which I think kind of completes the package in a way. Misha Beirach Avotenu V'Imotenu, may the one who blessed our ancestors, our fathers and our mothers, and all those who came before, bless this precious young life. Levi, Mayim, who has come into this world, into a loving family. God, please make sure that she is protected and kept healthy, that the work of her hands translates into goodness and blessing for the community. May her parents and grandparents and cousins and aunts and uncles have the privilege of seeing her grow into adulthood, a blessing to them, to our community, and to the entire world. The cantor and I are going to ask God's blessing upon Lake with words that come from the book of Numbers, and these are they.
Yevarechecha Adonai ve'yishmerecha.
May the Lord bless you and keep you.
Yael Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka.
May the light of life shine upon you and be gracious to you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
May God's face be lifted up to you, Lake Elizabeth, and may God bless you with a long, happy, and a healthy life, a life filled with a sense of meaning and a sense of purpose, and above all, a sense of peace. Ken Yehi Ratzon, may it be God's will, and together we can all say together, Amen. Well done.
What a wonderful night. I'm so pleased to be able to be a part of that baby naming. And it's a hard act to follow. I'm privileged to introduce Sherry Blomberg. A lot of you know her. She's going to do our guest talk, sermon. I'm also privileged to be a part of the class that she leads on Friday morning. It's been a wonderful opportunity for a group of women, mostly from Sinai, but not just from Sinai, but just women, to come together to study Torah and other words of impact from our tradition. We've had a chance to get close, to ask questions, to challenge ourselves, and Sherry's been just an amazing, amazing teacher and leader for us. And Sherry, I'm so glad you're here. Oh, and one more thing. What she's going to talk about tonight is a woman who most of us had never heard of until she introduced her to us 2 summers ago. And there's a lot of women that we have not been privileged to know and to know about. And so I'm so glad that Sherry brings these topics to us and enriches our lives.
To walk up here and just hop this little step. Aging is definitely inclusion. Thank you. So, by the way, if I had known there was going to be a baby naming tonight, I would have made it more of a story so that the children could sit in front and just enjoy. So I am going to be talking as if I were a character, sir, some of it, and I'll let you know. In 1991, I was privileged to get a doctorate in Jewish education. I also, at that time, didn't really know about Huldah. So if I only learned about Huldah that late, you can imagine that not a lot of people get to know this character. She's in the Bible, and she did everything they said. And I'm going to try and tell it to you from a different point of view as well. I am like the daughters of Huldah. Who are we? All of the daughters of Hebrew girls. Yeah, Hebrew girls. Maybe like you. Maybe like you. Maybe like you. She was a woman who felt deeply the love that God placed in the biblical text. She wanted to create a world of love, of justice, of chesed. She lived from 640 to 609 before the Common Era, right? Many, many years ago. She would have told you that she was married to the chief of the sacred temple wardrobe. She could live in the palace sometimes, and so because of that, perhaps her ability to listen, to hear, to want to learn, made her pay attention to the things people were writing and things that people were saying. And so, as a result, she became known in the community as a learned Jewish woman. And she listened, and she learned, and she was always thinking, and guess what? She was always asking questions. She lived during the reign of King Josiah. Luckily, King Josiah was a good king. We have many, many other kings listed in the book of Kings who were terrible kings in Israel. And she knew the difference. In the Torah, in Kings 2, you learn that she consulted with the king when a scroll was found in the temple after they had started to do a revolution for the time. King Josiah knew that the other kings had been not so good, and that's an understatement. But King Josiah wanted to know, what is this scroll that the high priest found? And they took it. They couldn't take it to Jeremiah because he was in a pit somewhere else, who was the main prophet of the time. So they took it to Huldah, and Huldah read it, and she cried. She read the text, and she ripped her clothes, and she thought, how have we forgotten God? How have we so turned against God that maybe he will not forgive us, or she will not? Well, she also began to prophesy. And she said to the king, to the king's messenger actually, take this message to the king and tell him that Jerusalem and Judah will be destroyed because of what you have done. And when King Josiah heard the message, he too ripped his clothes, fell to the ground, and asked for forgiveness. And the second prophecy that she made was, because you have shown remorse and repented, I will allow you, the good king, to live, to rest easily with your family before you, and die in peace. Both of the prophecies came true, of course, which is a remark about how you tell a good prophet from a bad prophet. But in the Talmud, the piece we get about Huldah is a little bit different. The story increased. Besides the fact that they related her to Jeremiah, making him part of the family, and another famous good king from the past, she became what was known as one of the 7 women of prophecy. And if I were teaching instead of speaking, I would say, who was that? So you can guess. Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, Leah, Miriam, Deborah, and Esther. And then you add the name of Huldah, and you have the 7 women who were the most famous and the only ones thought to be prophets in their time. And it also adds a little twerk to the story in the Talmud that, of course, the teacher was not Huldah herself, but her husband. So what was it that she did? Now, this is me talking, not Huldah. I think she authenticated the book of Deuteronomy. That is amazing. The book of Deuteronomy, for those of you who are not aware, was found in the temple, and it changed a lot of things about Jewish practice and Jewish law. She was prophesizing the destruction of Jerusalem and condemning the misbehavior, and she probably also taught all of the other women that she could come into contact with. She said, I love these words, the Torah. So Deuteronomy became authenticated. The Jews changed their practice under King Josiah to follow what the laws of the Deuteronomic books were. And what was so different? Well, Judaism, a religion very ancient, written originally and changed slowly. The first ones were for Jews who were farmers, sheep herders, and the second time through was for people who lived in cities. And if Judaism changed so much then, and she could authenticate it, perhaps Judaism can change when we need it to. Now, like Sarah and Rebecca and Rachel and Leah and Miriam and Deborah, she led the wise women of the land. She taught them Talmud, perhaps. She lived in a medieval time as well, according to some stories. And if you try to read Chabad's book and notes on her, there are lots of other details, none of which we really can find out or secure. But what women and men throughout time have made into a real person. Okay. But this is only the beginning, because what Huldah did is open the door for women who love and want to study or read or understand or argue with or disagree with the Torah. Okay? Women today like Ellen Umansky and Rachel Adler and Aviva Zornberg and Nechama Leibowitz and Marcia Falk and Andrea Weiss, who you had in this community, and Tamar Cohen Ashkenazi, and many, many more. They were the women that were the daughters of Huldah. So now back to Huldah speaking to you. Maybe it's like my created midrash. Why is Huldah important today? She's going to say, we are in a time of transition as Jews in this world. We are in a time like when they went from the cultic tradition to the rabbinic tradition, We are in a time of change. We need to think and carefully decide, how are we going to choose to be Jewish? What does that mean? And how does Judaism become a religion that is important enough and caring enough and loving enough so that people will choose it? And by the way, they do. We not only have to write the stories, but we have to study and learn and argue and figure out what has meaning. And so I'm going to tell you about my name in a very different way. Hulda, women are holy. United we are, sometimes, but in our love of God, definitely. L for learning and leading, and even more for love. D for daring to change and daring to stand up and daring to read the texts that seem to be so far away from us but are really in our heart. A, always caring, but not only for Jews, but for all the people of the world, all of those made B'Tselem Elohim. So I say to you, I am Hulda, maybe one of the first women acknowledged for learning and caring. Please, remember me. It was short.
We think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. We think especially of the following individuals who passed away within the last 30 days: Michael Stillman, Sheldon Bankier, and Jim McDermott. Additionally, we remember those who passed away within the last year: Beverly Miller, Susan Fran Weber, Sharon Heiken, Sheldon Greenberg, Robert Sametz, Dorothy Schmidt, Susan Gruenberg, Larry Rector, Rhoda Silver, Robert Israel, James Yanni, Leo Weinshell, Myrna Grossman, Herb Bratt, Bill Nakud, Richard Dick Kahn, Stanley Jolton, Robin Glickstein, Robert Evan Lieb, Dr. Allison Ruth Kravitz, Marcia Fenson, and Nancy Osterman. We are also remembering those whose yahrzeit or anniversary of their death falls on this Shabbat. Lillian Alschwang, Jack Barco, Andy Brickman, Dorothy Domer, A. Leon Fishback, Richard Foles, Joan Goldenstein, Robert Green, Donald Greenebaum, Lucille Grata, David Hested, Rachel Jacobs, Sheba Jacobson, Max Kyatt, Rose Kyatt, Barbara Jean Lieb, Laura Levy, Cheryl Lebowski, Albert May, David Meltzer, Rabbi Ronen Neuwirth, Harold Primico, Minnie Rabinovitz, Elaine D. Resnick, Richard Ross, Rose Sadowski, Arthur Salstein, Gary Sobel, Walter Stuckert, Abraham Uso, and Natalie Winowich. If I inadvertently missed reading someone's name or mispronounced a name, or if anyone else is remembering a loved one today, I invite you to please share their name out loud now. Thank you. Please turn to page 598 and join me in reciting the Mourner's Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'alma divrache v'yamich malchute, v'chayechon uvimechon uvchaye dekol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah merarach olam olamea maya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitroban v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yithaleh v'yithalal shemei dekudisha berichu, le'lamim kol berachata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba mim shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimrum av, u'ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. Zich roman livracha, may their memories be for blessing.
Yes, please be seated. I'm Judith Ross. I'm on the Board of Trustees of the Congregation Sinai. Tonight's Beam of Flowers are sponsored by Haji Black in memory of Andy Brickman. Tonight's Oneg is also sponsored by Lauren Stuckert and Brian Venhorst in honor of their daughter Lake Venhorst baby naming. In advance, I ask for forgiveness if I misread people's names. Congregation Sinai is grateful for the contributions made this week to our Sinai community in memory of A. Leon Fishbach, Cheryl Max Kayet, Rose Kayet, Sheldon Bankier, and Gary Sobel. And in honor of Michael Primico. Join us for the following upcoming programs. Come learn from one of modern Jewry's most intriguing and compelling voices, our Rabbi Jay and Rita Brickman Scholar in Residence, Dr. Elsie Stern, at the following events. Shabbat, led by MCRC on Friday, April 4th at 7 p.m. A presentation, Traditions of Slavery and Sojourning in Egypt, by Dr. Stern, on Saturday, April 5th at 4 p.m. A talk, Frogs Here, Frogs There, Transformation of the 10 Plagues Ritual, Dr. Stern, on Sunday, April 6th at 10 a.m. And I'm going to vary from the script for a moment. I remember when Dr. Elsie Stern was here. She's a friend of Rabbi's for years, but it was way back when we were young, before we had our beautiful worship and learning space. Congregation Sinai as a building ended just about down the hall here past the offices, just before the stairway to worship and learning space. And I bring that up because at the very end, there was this tiny little conference room, and all kinds of things went on there. And one time, Dr. Elsie Stern, friend of the rabbis, oh well, they were all religious, not to worry. But we had speakers and Greek machine meetings and so forth. I mean, everything took place there, which is why we now have our beautiful worship and learning space for so many other things, and it's so much bigger. But I remember that Dr. Elsie Stern was there, and she spoke about Purim, so it must have been Purim. And I have never forgotten a number of the things she brought up that I never knew as a kid. So I really encourage all of us to join her for the nights that she's here. She's talking about Passover. She's in the process of being co-editor of a new up-and-coming Torah commentary. Plout's commentary is 50 years old. I can't believe my father gave me that book. It's already 50 years old. So Dr. Stern is working on that. So please join me. I'm going to try to come as much as I can, and I really want to talk that up. Okay, bring your itsy bitsies to learn and play at Sinai. This is for ages 0 to 4 on the other end. And that's Sunday, April 6th at 10:15 a.m. in the Itsy Bitsy room. Join Sages for a musical morning with Dana Rubin Winkleman at their learning session, Benefits of Music on Memory and Healthy Aging, on Tuesday, April 8 at 10 a.m. Gather for a night of tradition, community, and good food at Sinai's second night Passover Seder. And that's on Sunday, April 13 at 5:30 p.m. Please RSVP on Shul Cloud, and for more information about any of these things and more programming, please refer to the Tuesday and Friday Sinai e-news for registration information, live stream, and Zoom links. Shabbat Shalom.
Please join us on page 120 as we say the blessing for lighting the Shabbat candles. Mitzvotav b'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat. Amen. Blessed art thou, O Lord our God, King of the universe, who has sanctified us by his laws and commanded us to kindle the Sabbath light. Amen.
We'll precede the Kiddush by, please join me before I sing my idiosyncratic version of Vayachulu. Turn to page 122, turn back to page 122, and let's read together the paragraph that begins, the heaven and earth. The heaven and the earth were finished, and all their array. On the seventh day, God finished the work that God had been doing, and God ceased on the seventh day from all the work that God had done. And God blessed the seventh day and declared it holy, because on it God ceased from all the work of creation that God had done. Vayachulu Hashamayim v'haaretz v'chal tzavam vayachal Elohim bayom hashvi melachto asher asa vayishbot bayom hashvi mikom melachto asher asa vayavarech Elohim et yom hashvi vayakadesh oto ki bo shavat mikom melachto ki bo shavat mikom melachto asher bara Elohim lasot asher bara Elohim lasot. Do you need the pitch pipe?
Okay. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu b'shabbat kadsho b'ahava u'ratzon inchilanu Zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila l'magrei kodesh zecher l'siyas Mitzrayim kivanu b'charta v'yotanu kidashta mikol Shabbat kadshecha b'ahava u'ratzon inchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat.
Oh, I get to do this. Are we ripping?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'tei avon Not going to stay.
Okay. Does this conclude our service?
In closing, we would again like to thank Rabbi Cohen and Cantor Newman for your support. Thanks also to Karen Horwitz for your beautiful accompaniment and your willingness to be flexible with us. We are grateful to Dr. Sherry Blumberg for sharing your insights, to all the other members of Brit Nashim who participated in the service, and to the planning committee who spent many hours creating it. Before COVID, Brit Nashim would have annual weekend retreats. We had a special tradition for closing them, and we'd like to share a slightly modified version here tonight. At retreats, we would stand in concentric circles and move around so that each of us had the opportunity to look every other woman in the eyes and share these 3 wishes. Tonight, please repeat each phrase after us. We wish you health. We wish you health. We wish you happiness. We wish you happiness. We wish you shalom. We wish you shalom. We thank you for sharing this Shabbat service with us. Please enjoy kiddush, wine, challah, and some treats in the foyer. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. You want to say?
I just want to get this. I forgot to give a gift to the kid. Boy, did I ever.
It's okay, you remembered it.